Hey everyone, it's Toby here from Full Time Media, and it's a very big occasion. It's our first episode, and we have a very special guest on today. He's an amateur MMA fighter, 7 wins, no losses, Chris Power, fighting out of Koff's Combat Academy. And we spoke to him after his win at Eternal 104. He won by first round submission, and initially we weren't sure the direction that this was all going to go. We were just doing an interview for perhaps for some articles or to do some reels and clip a few things up. But I think it's a great conversation that we have with him. So we're going to release it as a podcast. It'll be the first podcast, which is very fitting because he's the one that really kick-started a lot of this, a lot of the reels and things like that. This opportunity that he gave us to interview him, I think it's a great conversation with some great insights. And yeah, so as it wasn't intended on being a podcast initially, it starts recording kind of like a bit mid conversation. We're talking about how he was cornering on Grow Strong Fight series and how he'd be commentating and whatnot. So we'll pick up from there. So I won't leave you waiting any longer. Here's our conversation with Chris Power.
Yeah, shoot up there tomorrow and coach her. Should be pretty good.
Yeah, and so where's that fight?
That's in Warwick
Yeah.
on Grow Strong Fight Series, so that should be good. And then actually I got roped into commentating after she fights too, so that's going to be cool.
Have you done that before?
I've done it once before, but it looks like I was doing it with two experienced dudes last time, so I could sort of lean on them for a little bit of guidance or whatnot. Like, and if I stop talking, they'd take over. But yeah, this time it looks like I might be in more of a lead role there, which is a bit nerve-wracking, but I'm sure I'll figure it out.
Yeah, and that's pretty fun and cool, right? Like it's good experience for you behind the mic and things like that, which is
100%. Yeah. Super fun. It's like very different because you'd think like, oh, if you know about the sport, you're just talking about it. But to have the personality there and be able to call things in the moment, it's a bit different.
Yeah, it's yeah, and you got to be like I guess a little bit more careful. It's not like you after a few beers at the pub watching a fight or something, right?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
'Cause
Like,
I guess with MMA fighters, like they're very driven and like motivated. Like you would know yourself, and you don't want someone critiquing you.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. You've sort of like, while one person might be like not keeping their hands up, you've got to not say like, oh, he's got his hands down and whatnot. You got to try and direct it as like, oh, the other person's doing a good job of like landing punches. Rather, you've got to look for like the positive of like the opposite of it.
yeah, very easy. Like just being myself, being a sports fan, it's real easy to go into the negative of things.
Definitely. Yeah.
We'll start with your career, I guess. And
Yeah.
so you're 2 years in, 7 fights in. How important for you is it being active?
I think being active is one of the most important things for being like at the top of the game, and even just like knowing where you are and everything. Because you take a little bit of time off, by the time you get back in there, it's like have things changed in the sport? Like, are they all the guys are getting better all the time? Have they gotten like a step above me now? So like if you're always in there, every couple of weeks or like a couple of months at the most, it's going to be you're keeping up with the sport at least. You're getting that reality check. If people are starting to get a bit better than you, you're going to figure it out pretty quick once you get in the cage. And I know as well, like I'm going to be 27 in just over a month. Like that's still pretty young, but in terms of for the sport of MMA, like I've really only got a couple more years of my best days in me, so I want to try and get as many of them out of the way as possible.
And exactly. Like, how much are you learning from a fight? Like, do you learn a lot more from the fight than the gym, or like, how's that work? Do you then just take your learnings to the gym?
100%. Like, fights are the best way to learn. So, and it's not even just in the cage. Like, it's all the things you do preparing for the fight, things that happen like backstage at the fight, getting all of that right. And even like, I think as well as if you want to develop yourself and develop your brand as a fighter, it's important not just to, show up, do the fight, and then bugger off. Like you've got to sort of have a personality around you as well and try and push that. And as well, that's just a skill I develop each time. But as you say, like you learn from that and then you bring it back into the camp. So in terms of the personality, it might be like, oh, we've got to film more training sessions, like, more than just like 1 week out when I'm cutting weight and I'm grumpy. I don't want to be on a camera. And, I've got to work on this skill. It's like, how do I translate that through to drills in the training room? To actually be able to have that performance come out on fight night as well. So the fights are just amazing for development.
Yeah. Well, on that, I was gonna save it for later, but you were just talking about your personality, and so your post-fight celebration. That's a shoey, right? And we saw in
Always.
your last fight, there was a bit of an evolution. You did it from a high heel, a healing.
Yeah, I've always known that was going to be on the cards because I've never actually doubled up and done the same person's shoe twice, and each time I sort of try and up it a little, like make it a little bigger and cooler. So like, the first shoe was a little improv. One of my mates just ran down cage side and threw me his shoe after my win. So I was like, oh yeah, cool. The next one, I think I jumped on the cage and did it, but then after that, it was like, who's like one of the coolest people I'd be able to get to hand over their shoe this time. So like, I've got like the promoter of a show to hand over his shoe before. I've got the ring announcer as like he's interviewing me at the end. I'm like, hey, give us your shoe. Obviously, 2 fights ago, I had Blair interview me backstage, so I took Blair's shoe. Yeah, and then this time around, yeah, it was a heel of Ali. Yeah, and I was like, as soon as I got out there and I saw Ali, I was like, oh, I don't know if she's going to want to hand it over. I was like, I've got to ask at least. And she was really cool about it. She's like, I don't know how this is going to work. And I was like, well, there's one way to find out. So
you kept saying you're good, and then you pour 300 mils of rum on your chest. So.
yeah, that was a bit of a doozy. So, like I said, I've never done the same person's shoe twice, but it might have to be Ali's. I think I'm going to demand an immediate rematch with that shoe.
That'll be a constant battle. And so I guess on that, like Eternal, you talked to her being interviewed by Blair, Ali, like Eternal, and you wearing the Eternal shirt. I'm rocking the merch as well.
Yeah.
You enjoy fighting on Eternal, like that's where you see yourself continuing to go.
100%. Like, I mean, everyone knows Eternal's the biggest promotion in Australia, but even really Australasia, like, that's where you're going to get the hardest fights, the biggest coverage, all that sort of thing. And it's just, it's even fun to just be a part of like such a professional setup when you go to the weigh-ins, everything's set up there like it's the UFC with like the big backdrop and everything, the face-offs, media days, like even leading up to the fight where they'll bring you in, do interviews, yeah, how they push all of like your stuff on social media. Eternal's just so fun to be a part of.
You're an amateur still, right? So
yes,
getting all that experience as an amateur is crazy because like you'd expect people after a few pro fights to start to get that back of house experience and everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, and it's different when like you go to say other shows where you might be cutting your teeth that you're not getting that same back of house experience like you are at Eternal. But and as you say, normally you'd think it's as you get into your pro career that you would start to develop that experience there. But it's cool to have that at amateur because then when you're hitting the pro scene, it's not like you're figuring things out. Like you know what you got to do, and it's now just like full steam ahead, trying to push your brand, what you're about, and everything, and like yeah, putting knuckles on people.
And you did say they've got the best fighters at Eternal 100. You were calling out like the best fighters in the division, in the amateur scene. Like what drives you to do that? Like why do you do that? Why are you calling out? Is it good learning as an amateur, or you just want to see yourself against the best and really see where you're at? Like what motivates you?
A lot of my critiques in the past had been because by that point I was 6-0. And people are like, oh, but he's been fighting tomato cans. And like, I fought some really good dudes in the past, but maybe I made it look easy against him. So people are like, oh, he hasn't really been tested. So I knew I was a new kid on the block while like I was 6-0. That was my first outing at Eternal. And I was like, well, I'm going to get in here and I'm going to call out the scariest dudes. Surely one of them are going to put their hand up to fight me. And after I beat them, they can't sit there and say, oh, but he hasn't fought anyone good. That's the only reason. He's got a padded record. Like, oh, yeah. And so obviously, originally, I was scheduled to fight Gould at Eternal 104, but he ended up getting injured and had to pull out. And like, I woke up to that message from my coach. I was like, I opened my eyes, like, ugh. Look at my phone. He's like, oh yeah, Gould's out of the fight. And I was like, oh okay. And then he's like, oh, we just got a message off Robin. This my coach didn't even know. He was like, someone Aiden Todd off. And I was like, yeah, he's probably the scariest dude in the division. Say yes to that. Because again, that was even better for me. It's like after I beat Aiden, no one can sit there and go like, but like. What's he do when he gets like a good opponent? Like it's very hard to find someone better than Aiden Todorov.
Yeah, exactly. And then like, how do you feel after that? Like you kind of walk through it with like colors. Like it goes to what you were saying, where people are critiquing you for not fighting the best or whatever, but it's like when you fight the best, it's turned out exactly the same, even better.
Exactly. Look, just try and enjoy it while it lasts. I know it won't be there forever. So that was my thing. Being like gracious in victory and defeat as well. So like while I got the win, I still like went over, shook Aiden's hand, tell him like keep his chin up. I know Next time he fights, he's going to look like a killer again. Like nothing's changed for him. He's probably going to look even better next time. And then like for me, it's just sort of take what we can learn out of that, go back to the drawing board, discuss it with coaches and that. And it's, our goal hasn't changed. It's still full steam ahead, approach the next challenge as it comes. So we are looking at taking a little bit of a break now. I've got a holiday plan I've had sort of locked in for over a year now, so I can't really cancel that, which would have been cool just because I've got so much momentum now. I feel in my career it would be good to ride that out. But at the same time, on the tail end of last year, I had 3 fights in like 9 weeks of each other. Yeah, straight into it again this year. I had a pretty boring Christmas knowing that I could be jumping in there again pretty soon. So it might be nice to have a break and then you like jump in there again sort of mid-year or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. And so I guess that kind of answers my question of like, what does 2026 look like for you? So a bit of a holiday and you could be, yeah, really smashing it out towards the back end of the year, earn that rest.
That's the plan. Like I want to fight as much as I can this year. As I say, like sort of that July-ish time, I'll probably jump in there again. I'd probably ideally like at least 3 fights for the back end of the year. 3 is very doable. I'd love 4 or 5, but like in a 6-month period, I know that can be hard to do. But one of my most exciting things I got coming up is there'll be a fight show in Coffs Harbour towards the end of the year. I'm super keen for that. Like I really want to jump on and headline that show for yeah, all the fans I got down here that I've been dragging all around the countryside to come and support me. Like they can actually just watch me fight at home for once.
Yeah, yeah. And have they done a show in Coffs before? Is this a new show? Like,
No. So this would be a new show. I think they used to do them, say, like 15 years ago or something, back as MMA was getting off the ground, I've heard. But there hasn't been one as long as I've lived here. I can't remember a show. But so, yeah, I'm really excited for that. And that has been sort of built off the hard work I've done abroad. As I say, dragging fans everywhere, making like really pushing my persona and whatnot, and the crowd get behind me too, or the fans I bring. So promoters see that and they go like, oh, what would, if he can do this out in the middle of nowhere, what could he do in his hometown? So yeah, like I'm really excited to be able to sort of take in some of the rewards for the hard work that I've been doing.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And I guess on that though, as an amateur, do you want to headline as an amateur, or when does a switch to pro? When does that start?
I mean, it's got to be just around the corner, really. Like sitting there 7-0, Tapology got me ranked at the top of the division there. Even just chatting with my coach, he's like, one of our issues I think is going to be if we spin around and go, oh, I'd like another, like one more fight at amateur and, you know, we'll just get that extra bit of experience out and then we go pro. He's already said, he's like, I might say that to promoters and they come back and say, no one wants to fight Chris. Like there's no amateurs left that want to fight Chris. So that decision might already be made for us in that regard. But, you know, I think it's still, I had a brief chat with my coach and he's just said like, you know, let's get this holiday out of the way. We'll get back in the training room and see how things feel. And with that little bit of a break, it might be nice. I might have a newfound sort of motivation there. And it might be like, let's go full steam ahead, throw me in there at pro. Or it might sort of be, I don't know, I get back out of shape and I say, hey, I need a tune-up fight, find me an amateur. Like, you know, I think definitely this year you'll see me stepping in there as a professional though.
Yeah, that'd be sick. How do you feel you'll go with like it's the added 2 minutes to each round, right? And it doesn't like the 2 minutes, it gets incrementally like harder, more difficult, right? So
Oh, absolutely. Like, I mean, you look at my record anyway, and I've got a gaggle of first round finishes. I hate 3 minutes. That's way too long. That's way too long. Let's just get it over and done with. You know, we're not paid by the minute. We're not paid at all at amateur, but yeah, so it's the extra cardio you've got to do with it as well. But and as well, like it's just a word that people throw around. Oh, he's a pro, he's a professional. But that's the attitude you approach the fight with, and you've got to sort of remember that. Like the other person there isn't just doing this as a hobby. Like he is attacking this like a full on professional. Like, he's going to make sure he's ticked every box. So yeah, you've got to leave no stone unturned, especially with the conditioning there, because yeah, 5 minutes is really going to show you where you've fallen short in your conditioning. And little things as well. You've got the elbows, you've got the up kicks, and a little bit of changes in the grappling too. But like all of that,
that'll probably help you, right?
absolutely, like, especially in ground and pound. Like I think elbows just fill a huge hole that punches can't cover when you're in ground and pound. And then standing, obviously, elbows are just devastating. So yeah, I'm excited to be able to play with all of those new weapons one day.
Yeah, yeah. That'd be sick. how you been enjoying the interviews and things like that? Like the part with Eternal, is that fun? Or
Oh,
like,
absolutely. Yeah. I even normally try and think out and just say a couple of things I'd like to cover in there. I feel that helps you get your personality out a little bit easier if you've kind of got a bit of an idea, particularly with the shoeies. If I know what I'm going to do with my, like who I'm going to call out for my shoey and all that sort of thing, that feels a lot more natural and I can put a little bit of flair on it. When you're like in the moment, you're looking around like, oh, whose shoe am I going to get? It's hard to bring out the personality with that too. But yeah, I don't know. I love being in the spotlight there. Like, as I say, I love Eternal, but obviously they supply us with all the kit and everything, and it is awesome gear. I do love it. Like you always catch me in the training room in my past fight shorts, but when we go on other shows where it's like bring your own stuff, I always fight in leopard print. And again,
yeah,
one
I've
thing I
seen
love
that.
having like in the spotlight there, just showing off my leopard print. And like you either love it or you hate it, but either way, you get a reaction out of someone when you fight in leopard print.
Correct. I mean, even the commentators in one of your fights was saying you've got to know how to fight if you're wearing leopard print. Like,
Absolutely.
adds a
Yeah.
bit of extra pressure on you wearing the leopard print.
Yeah, definitely. Mm.
And so I guess when people see you on a card, what do you want them to know about you and like and where you're headed? What are they expecting in your fight?
It just expects excitement, I think, is the big thing because it doesn't matter whether it's going to be a submission, whether it's going to be striking. I'm looking to entertain. I don't want to be boring. I don't, I do, at the end of the day, I'm doing this for myself. I'm not doing it for the crowd that's there. But as well, like, that's just what I want for myself. I don't want to be a guy who just comes along and says, oh, yeah, I fight, but like, no one really cares. When I go on to fight, people go, oh, that's a toilet break. That's the time to go grab a beer. Like, yeah, I want people to be like, oh, Chris Powers fighting. Okay, like, let's sit down, let's watch this one. So, and I try and always push for that in my fights, whether, as I say, whether it's the striking or the grappling.
Yeah.
I'm not just after a victory, I'm after excitement.
Yeah, and I guess do you feed off that? Do you feed off the energy like some people are like that, I guess, like just hyping it up gets you revved up, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like, like you work off each other there and it's all like while it's just positive vibes, like obviously if I'm fighting someone I'm not doing so well and all the crowd's cheering for him, that's going to be really hard for me to rally and feel good about myself. But like even if I'm losing a fight, if I do something flashy, I just pull off something cool, or I don't know, I might do something funny and the crowd gets a pop out of it, like that's obviously going to make me feel good and that spurs me on again. So yeah, again, I do it for me and that's why I want to do it.
Yeah, and how do your coaches, I guess, go with that? Because, like you say, you go to make things look exciting and fun. And I think even in your fight against Kai, you probably took a bit more risks to make it more fun and exciting. Like, do you get chipped a little bit about that? Like, is that the
uh,
balance?
I certainly got chipped a little bit after that fight, but no, my coaches are sort of all on board with that. And we do discuss things even outside of the fight. But like we obviously go over what's going to happen in the fight very in depth. But even just talking about Shoeys, sometimes I'm bouncing ideas off my coach there. Oh, do you reckon we can get this do? How would we do that? And they're like, oh, yeah. So like even the one I did off the cage, like you got to think the cage is raised, like the floor's raised, then you've got the cage and I'm on that. These guys are outside the cage. And I was like, oh, we're going to have to find someone like really tall to pass a shoe up to you. Like, so those guys are really on board with me in all aspects of the fighting and whatnot, and they understand the goal and they're very honest with me in the different things that I want to do. So I might say, oh, I want to come in and I'm going to throw this flippy kick at old mate, and it's like going to get a huge pop out of the crowd, and they're like, yeah. Maybe not. I think you're going to get chinned if you do that. Or, oh, I'm going to start out with this technique and whatnot. This is something I can see working and being part of the game plan. And they'll look at it and, oh, yeah, I think that's good. Or maybe you can tweak it this way and it's going to be even more spectacular. So they are 100% in support of my brand and what I push with that.
And I guess then how long till we see a sick head kick KO or a kick KO? Like you've got an arsenal of kicks. How long till we see that?
Mate, I think I have said since before my first fight, yeah, you'll see a head kick in the next one. It's going to happen soon. I think one of the things is, and even I don't get this because everyone will sit back and watch all my fights, and maybe except my fight with Kai, you look at them and you go like, oh, like I'm not scared of his taekwondo. I kick Kai a fair bit, and so maybe you could look at that and go, oh, I've got to like prepare for his kicks. But you watch all my fights and you go, oh, he's a grappler. Okay, like I better be ready for that. But every time I step in there with someone, I can tell they're more worried about the taekwondo. They're looking to get through that taekwondo range, and
Yeah,
they're kind of doing it at
they're
any
lunging at
cost.
you with punches, right? Like,
100%. They're not even doing it intelligently with like, oh, here's how I'm going to feint my way in and do this and that. It's like, get through the kicks and then I can do my work. And they blast through the kicks and it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll grab you then. And
yeah,
then
yeah,
straight away, it's like, I'm into my grappling again. So to answer your question, it's going to be the next fight. You'll see me kick someone in the head, but that's only if they're going to let me do it. And most of the time, they don't want to let me do it. So I'm eager for it to happen. So it will happen very soon.
yeah. Definitely in costs. Then we expect a head kick.
Yeah. Yeah. At least 3 sins before I land it.
You've definitely got a massive fan in me. I went back, watched all your fights that I could find, dude, and
Yeah.
it's you're very entertaining. You got a really good kick style, kick heavy style. Like that,
Yeah.
that Kai fight was it was really a really fun to watch. He's a
Yeah.
good dude, right? Like,
Yeah, Kai's pretty good, and because a few people did even chip me about like having that split decision to Kai. And if you look on Tapology, his record was like 1-1 or something, but that's incomplete because his record was like 3-2. So like he'd been around the block, he knew what he was doing, and he's probably one of the few people that actually approached me like, oh, he's just got 3 submissions back to back. I'm fighting a grappler this time, so that was why we got that stand up battle. And I had a couple of beers with him after the fight, and it was like a really good back and forth. And he's like, but you kicked me, and I was like, this is not the fight that I expected. And then we sort of stood for about a round, and then he was like, oh, fuck, I better try grappling with him. Like, I can't keep getting kicked by him. And then he's like, I did really good in the grappling. I didn't expect that. And like, I was on the reverse end of that. I was like, dude, I didn't expect you to do so good in the grappling against me. I'm really kicking myself. So, but that was a fun fight. I'm really happy to have that on my
yeah, it was so
resume.
much experience because I found that fight emulated a lot of your Eternal 100 fight, right? Like
Yeah.
it was very similar, except you just seemed way more well equipped. Like you weren't taking the risks that you took in the other one. But whilst still, like it was a very similar style of fight, but you just looked better.
Yes. 100%. Like, with Kai, I really felt I had to go and take the win from him. But like with Solari, at the start, we're both equal. But then after, I don't know, 30 seconds into it worth of exchange, I was like, oh, cool. I feel I'm up now. And I was happy to I was like, he's got to come and get me. He's got to get the win off me. And I am a little disappointed with how lackluster that performance was. I feel I could have taken a few more risks. As you say, that can very quickly lead me into that fight I had with Kai, which, I mean, yeah, it's entertaining, but I don't know if my brain loves that. So I do try and avoid too many of those.
Yeah, because exactly that. Like you said, you took, I think even Kai, you just took a risk, which kind of changed the momentum of the fight, and then you were like constantly trying to get back into it. Like, and that was something that was like really admirable. Is like even though he's up for 2.5 minutes of round 3, he's on top of you. You still tried to get up and like still try to do something yourself. It's like you weren't surviving to the end. You wanted to win. Like,
Yeah, 100%. And like, you kicked me off my stool for that third round. And like, if you had to ask me, oh, like, 3 more minutes, you got it in you. Absolutely not. There's no way I've got 3 minutes in me. So like I was coming out there thinking like, oh, I've got to get a good position on this dude or I've got to knock him out. And then, yeah, obviously I get in the worst position I possibly could have. But still the whole time it's like, I knew I wasn't going to give up. But even at any point, like during while he had me back on my back, if you grabbed me and you were like, oh, there's 90 seconds left. If you got 90 seconds in, there's no way I had that in me. I was completely gassed from there. But it was like, I just knew I wasn't going to give up from there, and I wanted to take that win from him.
yeah, and then like you said, you were quite tired in that Solari fight. You didn't look as tired.
No, absolutely. And that, again, is an experience type thing. Even if I probably didn't show it as much on my face just because of, I know I've been there before. Whereas with Kai, like I've been pushed in the gym and whatnot, but it's a little different in a fight. Like, I'm tired and I know there's someone that's actually trying to hurt me, not just trying to work a skill with me. Whereas, yeah, with Solari, as I'm getting tired, it's like, yeah, I've been here before though. I've been tired and I've had someone actually trying to hurt me. So, as you say, it's just a little bit more experience there.
Yeah. The Gold Coast Eternal card, that'll be too soon for you, yeah? Like with your
That's early June, is it?
Yeah, I think it's like 14th
Yeah.
of June, something like that.
Yeah, we have had a few messages off Robin. She even tried to get me on the May card, and like if I didn't have my holiday, bam, I'd be on that May card. I'd probably be fighting tomorrow night if I was really ready to jump. There was actually you wouldn't be able to catch this fight, but a few fights ago I fought a guy named Jacob Mills.
Yeah, there were maybe like 3 fights I couldn't find.
Yeah, I don't think they've been uploaded, but he's actually fighting this weekend when I'm going to be commentating. And so for Grow Strong, which the promotion is, I have like their featherweight belt, but he's going to be fighting for their lightweight one. And as soon as I saw that pop up, I like messaged my coach, it's like, hey, if one of these boys pull out, chuck me on that. So yeah, it was. I'm probably going to miss it a little bit. I know when I get there tomorrow and I start,
Yeah.
hearing the pads get hit and smelling other people's blood, I'm going to be like, I wish I was in there tonight. But I'm sure the time will fly by. And yeah, it's probably more so July, I'd say, when I get in there again.
Yeah. Yeah. Sick, dude. Awesome. I'm really keen for it.
Thank you very much.
But yeah, once again, like I've only got the 40 followers. It's just like a passion of mine. I'm just really nerdily into sport, and I just thought, stuff it. I'll give this a go. And yeah, when people like yourself say, let's do an interview, this is just like, it's motivated me to, yeah, to do more with it, to tidy it up, to just keep going. So yeah, I'm really grateful for you, dude.
Anytime, man. And yeah, as I say, if you want to do it again, like leading up to another fight or after another fight, I'm always keen. Let me know. Oh, well, yeah, enjoy the rest of your day and have a good weekend too. And if you need anything, just let me know.
Awesome. Thanks, dude. Cheers.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.